What's up and welcome. This is me, you, and Switch 2. I am me, Tom Tate, and you are you, so let's talk about Switch 2. This is the latest and greatest Nintendo Switch 2 news brought to you every Tuesday and Friday in 5 to 10 minute, short and sweet, snackable episodes. Today's Friday, November 14th. It is 7:54 a.m. on the East Coast. This is episode 48. We are close to 50, and we are also close to the weekend. We made it. It's Friday. I hope you had a great week. I hope you had the opportunity to check out this Super Mario Galaxy movie direct that was a couple days ago. It's looking like this is going to be a ton of fun. I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was great. I don't want to spoil the direct for you if you're going to watch it, but I guess this is a light spoiler. Jack Black makes an appearance, and I watched this with my kids, and he was just absolutely cracking us up. I can't believe that he has the amount of energy that he has. I hope that when I'm his age, I can mirror that amount of energy because it was just intense. It's only 7-8 minutes, so I'll drop a link in the notes if you want to watch that. But we have to get on with the show because it's been an eventful release week for Nintendo Switch 2, and we've got a lot of reviews to cover in this episode, starting with Goodnight Universe. So Goodnight Universe has been out since Tuesday. All of the early reviews that I read were for PC and PS5. So I didn't want to talk too much about this game. It has you kind of playing the role of a baby who has special powers. The art style is very cool. There's this unique mechanic in the game where it makes use of the camera, like a web camera, to do eye tracking. And I couldn't find anything about this on the Nintendo detail page. And a recent review by Nintendo Life confirmed that it's just not there. And that was my suspicion. And Mitch Vogel writes, though it currently lacks the eye control feature on Switch 2, a camera update is planned sometime after launch, it still proves a worthwhile narrative experience. So his joys, charming and touching narrative. Isaac's powers are well integrated into both the narrative and gameplay, and it's not too long or short. Cons, no eye or face tracking on Switch 2, at least at launch, and they gave it a 7 out of 10. So this is only a $20 title, so that's not bad. According to, I think, IGN, it's about 5 hours to play through the full narrative. So for $20, you're getting a unique little contained experience. Not terrible. Next up, we have Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2, which are both available as of yesterday. $50 for the bundle. You can get both of them, or you can buy them individually for $30 each. These are remakes of Yakuza 1 and 2. So Yakuza Kiwami was released on Switch already last year, 2024, but the performance was apparently a bit rough. And Ollie Reynolds over at Nintendo Life writes, this is fundamentally a 2016 remake of a 2005 game, and the developers have taken great strides in subsequent years to polish the series further and ditch the features and mechanics that don't quite work. With that in mind, I'd still recommend starting with Yakuza 0 if you're completely new to the series, but Kiwami is a perfectly fine place to dive in too. And over at Nintendo Life, they gave it an 8 out of 10. Nintendo Insider's review of Kiwami 2 said that while it looks nicer, performance can chug in some busier environments. They also noted that Kiwami 2 is based on a game that was developed for PS4, while Kiwami 1 was originally developed for PS3. So it would make sense that it would require a little bit more to perform the same way. They still gave it an 8 out of 10. Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life also reviewed Kiwami 2, and he said that it runs at 30 frames per second, while Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami 1 ran at 60 frames per second. So if you go from those games to Kiwami 2, you might feel it, but if you're just starting with Kiwami 2, you might not really notice the difference. Ollie still gave Kiwami 2 a 9 out of 10, writing that Yakuza Kiwami 2 is a wonderful experience on Switch 2. The improved visuals and streamlined mechanics make for a delightful gameplay experience bolstered by a compelling narrative at its core. So there is plenty to be said about these games. They've been out for a very long time. And again, they are remakes of remakes. So if you want to learn more, it's just a quick Google away. I'm personally new to this series, and I'm excited that I'm going to start it on Switch 2. I'm excited that we have 0 Director's Cut. We have Kiwami 1 and 2 to dig into, and we're getting Kiwami 3 in February. And the last thing I'll note, these games run from, anywhere from 18 to 35 hours, depending upon how much you want to do. And it could go up to 80 hours according to howlongtobeat.com, for a completionist playthrough. So you're getting a ton of value for that $50 bundle, especially when new games are running $70 now, right? Next up, the Atelier Ryza Secret Trilogy Deluxe Pack arrived on Switch 2. That consists of 3 games that you can also buy in a bundle, or you can buy them individually. I mentioned on a previous episode that the Atelier series has 27 main games. I didn't know anything about this series until I started doing more research for this podcast. This specific collection features games from 2019, 2020, and 2023. They all exist on the original Switch. They also have been released on PlayStation and Windows. It's $90 for the collection, or $40 each if you want to buy them individually. These are RPGs. They're, turn-based combats. I think there's a lot of crafting elements in this particular wing of the series. Anime-ish art style. Again, if you Google this, because this is an audio podcast, it's hard to see, but if you Google this, you'll get a feel for what this type of game is pretty quickly. The games have already been released and reviewed on Switch. If you want to learn more, you can Google the older reviews as well too. I read that the performance gains on Switch 2 are very noticeable. I only found one review for this collection, and the latest release, which might have struggled a bit on Switch 1, performs really well on Switch 2. Sean Musgrave at Nintendo Insider gave this a 9 out of 10, saying, "The Atelier Ryza Secret Trilogy Deluxe Pack is an excellent way to play these games, and I think the included games serve equally well as an entry point to the Atelier or a full standalone saga." So if you're looking for RPGs to play, there's no shortage, but if you want to try a new series altogether and you haven't played these, definitely worth checking out. Last episode, we talked about the release of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonments, and I shared some reviews. I'm going to link up to an additional one that I stumbled upon in the show notes. This is from Kyle Hilliard from Game Informer. He gave it a 7.75. He wrote, "Perhaps Age of Imprisonment's best trick, however, is how it makes me feel like I'm back in the world of Tears of the Kingdom. The art direction, menu elements, music, sound effects, and more all make me feel like I am back in 2023, getting lost in one of my favorite games of the last decade." And honestly, this definitely seems like the appeal of this game, getting back into that world of Tears of the Kingdom, which is so amazing. So I have not played a Musou game ever, but this is on my short list of games I should check out. And as a reminder, Inazuma 11 Victory Road Nintendo Switch 2 edition released yesterday. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a fighting game that releases today. I haven't caught any reviews of these yet, but I will keep you posted if I read more. I also noticed on the eShop that Hello Kitty Island Adventure Nintendo Switch 2 edition released yesterday. I was blissfully unaware of this. This game already existed on Switch 1, and it's currently a $50 title for the Switch 2 edition. There is an upgrade path. I forget if it's free or an additional charge. Another sort of shadow drop was Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars Reforged, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. This is a remaster of a 1996 old school kind of point and click adventure game. You'll recognize this art style from so many games back in the PC era, the early PC era in the 90s. This is available for $29.99. All right, we have a minute left. We're going to blaze through some of the top headlines this week. Red Dead Redemption is hitting PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and mobile devices on December 2nd. On Switch 2, we'll get 60 frames per second gameplay at a higher resolution and DLSS, HDR, and mouse controls. It'll be a free upgrade if you own the Switch version, and your save will also carry over, which I thought was pretty awesome. Speaking of December, early December, we're less than a month away from Octopath Traveler Zero's release on December 4th. And on Tuesday, I think this was following a Japanese Sony State of Play presentation, we received a new trailer and a playable demo that's available for Switch and Switch 2. You can play up to 3 hours, and your save also carries over, which is pretty cool. Pokemon Pokopia had an extended 10-minute trailer release. I'm going to link to it in the show notes. I think the big controversy here is that at some point this week, we learned that this game will be a game key card, and people are not happy about that. It will not contain the full game. This will release on March 5th, 2026 for a whopping $70, and the game is not even on the card. Speaking of using game key cards, Nintendo is fighting the good fight to make us all believe in the value and power of game key cards. There's a campaign to educate gamers on what they are and why they're maybe not as bad as everyone says that they are. I noticed a using game key cards video pop up in my YouTube feed. I watched it. It was this educational short little video. I'll drop that in the notes if you want to check that out. And if you want some additional weekend viewing, also on the official Nintendo YouTube channel, we have another Kirby Air Riders overview trailer, and we have a Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Kiwami 2 launch trailer that went live over this past week. That's it for today. Get at it this weekend. Enjoy it. Monday comes fast. I hope that you find some time to do the things that you love to do. I personally will be at the soccer field. Season's almost over, though. I'm excited for that. I'm on the final episode of the game Dispatch. I'm playing it on a Steam Deck. I've been loving it a ton. I'm sad to see it end, but it's been amazing. And I'm still working through Final Fantasy Tactics on Switch 2. I'm really enjoying that as well. I want to thank you, as always, for your time and your attention. A kind rating or review helps me continue to grow the show. Sharing with a friend, family member, Discord server, subreddit, or anywhere that gamers hang out goes even further. Switch2pod.com for all the things. Man, we are way over the 11-minute mark. I am working so hard to keep these short and sweet, and we will definitely continue to work at that. But when you have so many games released in a single week, it's kind of tough. You want to cover them all. I hope that you had a great week. Much love. See you on Tuesday. Now go play some games.